Season 4, Episode 7. What's going on, guys? Just got to another episode. Last one was about a couple weeks ago. Just watched this past weekend's games. So let's get it rolling. We're going to look at the scores right now. And so far, we got Niners, Titans. Titans won 2017, Browns, Packers. So the Niners-Titans game, the Niners with that loss are still in the hunt for the playoffs. They're basically tonight's game with the Saints in Miami has it set up to where they need Miami to win so they can hold that 8 and 7 slot in the wild card hunt. Their next couple of games are must win. I just seen the Texans beat the Chargers this past weekend, and it was like a really ugly game for the what's it called, for the Chargers. And like the Texans have done this to good teams. Like the Titans lost to the Texans, and the Titans just beat the Niners. And like the Niners usually don't lay down easy with these beatable teams, but like you got to go out every Sunday, especially not the Niners, and get after it, because that team, the Texans, I feel like are a team that could have been good, but they just had they had nothing going their way. Anyways, they're not a very good team. They don't have a very good defense. They gave up still a lot of points, and they were playing a really high-paced offense that can throw the ball deep. They were scoring a lot, so passing is definitely going to be a thing. The thing that the Chargers don't have as much as the Niners do have is a run game. That might be a different outcome for the Niners, just for the fact that we have a run game. Pass game ain't really all that. It's mediocre. It's decent. It's not like the greatest. We have good receivers, and our run game is a lot better than most teams. So, that being said, the Texans might actually struggle more with the Niners than they did the Chargers. And Titans, they're clinched into a playoff spot with that win. And Browns losing, their playoff chances are getting very slim. They have to win out to even, I think, make it now. They got to go 9-8 just to even make a wild card spot, which I don't think is going to happen, because most of the wild card teams are going to be 10-7 or better. So Packers winning, they're 12-3. I think the Packers right now are the best team coming out besides the Rams. Cardinals losing to the Colts was a huge smack in the face, I think, to the Cardinals. The Cardinals are looking like, without having all their key pieces, they don't do well. They don't bounce back from dealing with injuries and stuff. And I mean, every team's got their injuries, but the Cardinals they're struggling. Not so much defensively, but their offense is very, very lackluster. I think they're still without D-Hop, and I think that them not having D-Hop is it's obvious. It's like they need him, and without him, they're not a whole lot. Their offense needs him really bad, and I mean, if they get him back at the postseason, things are gonna look pretty good for them. They already got their 10 wins. They're more than likely they're making the postseason. They clinched, so it's a matter of just getting the right guys back in the right time. And Indianapolis is looking real strong. They're 9-6 now. They're AFC favorites, I think, for the wild card spot. So Colts are they're looking good. They're really reliant on their defense. If their defense can keep up what they're doing against good teams like the Cardinals, that have a pretty good offense, then the Colts have a pretty solid chance to possibly make it pretty far. I mean, this isn't Carson Wentz's first rodeo being really good, and the Colts also, I believe, or it's not the Colts, the Eagles receive, I think, a first-round pick now, because Carson Wentz has played 75% plus snaps for the Colts so far. All right, So with that being said, Colts Cardinals are obviously two playoff teams. It was a good matchup. It was a good game. Giants Eagles. Eagles routed the Giants. Giants season's over. It doesn't really matter. Eagles winning though, 8-7. They're now in the playoff hunt. If they win out, they have a good chance. But that team is just not. They're not looking. They don't look like a team that's gonna be an issue for a lot of other teams, if you know what I mean. Now they did bring up Philly has won their last 13 of 16 games versus New York. Oh, that's not really a huge eye opener. Justin Jefferson broke Odell Beckham's Jr.'s receiving yards for most receiving yards in the first two seasons in NFL history. Rams Vikings game looked pretty entertaining. I'm pretty sure that the Vikings losing helped. The playoff picture for the Niners. Niners are a situation where if they lose one more, I think it's a wrap. You lose to the Texans, there's no bouncing back. Beating the Rams won't really mean a whole lot. I don't think they'll even get in. But winning next week is a big key for a couple of the teams that are trying to make the playoffs. Rams 11-4 now have the chance of winning the NFC West and being the number 1 seed and getting the first week bye. They're also going for the number 1 seed in the playoffs for home field advantage, yada yada yada. So far they're 11-4. The only thing is they need the Packers to lose. But I'm pretty sure if we win next week and then beat the Rams the following week, we'll go 10-7. Hopefully they can lose out. If they lose out, they'll be 11-6. If we win out, we'll be 10-7. We'll be in second, and depending how the Cardinals do, there's a possibility that the Niners might have to face the Cardinals in the postseason. We don't know yet. Bills Patriots, both 9-6 now. Bills beating the Patriots, I think, was a statement game. They wanted to come out and prove that they are the team to beat. I think it's safe to say that Mac Jones is that guy. He's the guy to replace Brady's seat in New England. I think he's going to be there a while. I know it's his first season, but based on how the first season's going for him, going 9-6 so far, he's coming out with a purpose. He's trying to prove a point. So, Bills Patriots. Bills are looking like AFC favorites right now coming out of the AFC. Other than that, let's see, other AFC team off the top of my head. Yeah, Titans. I think it's going to be between Titans, Colts, Bills. Yeah, I don't really see anyone else that's worth. Bengals are looking pretty good after their win this past weekend, but we'll get to them in a second. All right, Buccaneers, Panthers. Bucks win again, 11-4. Panthers lose again. Pretty sure Cam Newton's career is all but over. So, yeah, I think that might be Cam's last season. I don't think they're gonna do well with him. I think it's a wrap. I think it's either he stays in the league as a backup or he hangs it up. I don't think he wants to hang it up because he can physically play the game, but there's something going on where he's not playing it mentally right, and he just doesn't look good anymore. Buccaneers clinched the NFC South for the first time since 2007. thought they clinched last year. I guess they didn't. Um, Jaguars, Jets. This is two of the worst teams going head to head. Jets came out on top. Zach Wilson had a decent game, but obviously their season's all but both teams' seasons are all but over. They're not really worth talking about. Both have rookie QBs. Trevor Lawrence is having a pretty rough rookie season. Most of the rookies are. It is what it is. It's a rookie season. They'll be all right. Lions, Falcons, two teams. Lions almost upset the Falcons. Falcons won. They're 7-8 now. 2-12-1 are the Lions. Chargers, Texans. Yeah, like I said earlier, 41-29. Like Texans showed up. Texans have some ownage against the Chargers. Won 3 of the last 4 games against the Chargers. Don't really know why the Texans have such huge ownage on them. Texans season has been over. They're 4-11 even with the win. Chargers are 8-7. They're in the playoff hunt. The AFC is pretty tight, just like the NFC. Ravens, Bengals. Ravens are banged up with COVID and injuries, and they've had that going on all year, but they really got slammed once Lamar got out of the lineup. Like, that team is beat up. Lamar finally got to a point where he can't really play anymore. He's beat up pretty good. Bengals, though, Joe Burrow threw for 525 yards, and that was the 4th most passing yards in a game since 1950. Wow, that's pretty crazy. Bears, Seahawks. That game was disappointing. Bengals are obviously going to be in the playoffs, by the way. And I think they're going to win the AFC North now with the win against the Ravens. They're 9-6. Ravens are 8-7. Ravens are looking like a wild card team now, but I wouldn't count the Ravens out there. How you're going to get some key players back just in time. So we'll see how it plays out in these next couple of weeks. Bears, Seahawks. Bears came in last second with a final drive in the 4th quarter to beat the Seahawks 25-24. Seahawks season is just disappointing. They're 5-10. They're obviously going to finish the season last in the division. I don't really see Niners losing 2 games in a row. It's Seahawks' first losing seasons in like 10 years. With Russell Wilson there, I think Russ's time in Seattle's coming down to a close end, and so is Pete Carroll. I think they might need some change, because they were projected to be pretty good, and they ended up not being all that great. But it happens. Teams got to start getting some new pieces in, and I think it's Seattle's time to start getting some new faces. Now, Bears putting Nick Foles in and beat a team like Seahawks. Seahawks don't have a very bad team. They're just struggling to play as a team. Bears, with their with this win, they're 5-10. Both teams are 5-10. They're not going to be playoff teams. Bears put on Nick Foles. I feel like Nick Foles probably should have been playing a lot sooner. I don't know if he wasn't playing because of COVID or like injuries happened. Didn't really look into it, but I feel like Nick Foles should have been playing this season over Justin Fields. I feel like they needed to let Justin Fields kind of sit back, watch somebody that's, won a Super Bowl and all. I think you would give that guy more of a chance than your rookie QB, but that's just me. Steelers Chiefs game. Chiefs beat the crap out of them. It was like 23-0 at one point when I was watching the game. Steelers 7-1. The tie is really making them look a lot better than what they are. I think the Steelers are not going to really be a factor come playoff time. I think depending who their future games are, they might lose out. I don't know. They didn't look good at all. This is Big Ben's last season, and I don't think they really had enough pieces in the puzzle to make it as far as they wanted to. Chiefs clinched the AFC West for the 6th straight season. I think it's the longest streak in the NFL from what I heard earlier. the Chiefs are the Chiefs. They look like they figured out their offense. They look like the Patrick Mahomes is looking pretty comfortable. Come this time of the year is pretty dangerous. Chiefs are looking like a team that are gonna be the one to beat. They're gonna be the AFC favorites. I think it's gonna be either Chiefs Bills, Chiefs Titans. That's my two matchups that I think are gonna happen for the AFC Championship. Broncos, Raiders. Raiders came out on top. Raiders needed the game. 4 straight games versus Denver. They have some major ownage. Raiders are seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. It looked pretty dark for a while. It wasn't the greatest games that they've had, but they also did lose a key piece in the middle of the season. So for them to be 8-7, losing a star player like they did, that is not bad. Hopefully, the Bay Area, ex-Bay Area team can pull through, because it'd be cool to watch both Niners and Raiders in the playoffs. It'd be kind of cool to watch. And then, last but not least, Sunday Night Football was boring. Washington football team looked ugly as hell. Players fighting each other on the freaking sideline and shit. And Cowboys just fucking came out with an ass whooping. They got 42 points, I believe, in one half. And obviously they pumped the brakes, it looks like, in the second half, where Washington finally started playing some defense. But I think Dak didn't really play most of the second half, more than likely. He looked like he was on pace for like 600 yards. It looks like it was going to be like a record-breaking game, and then I think they just had such a huge lead that they didn't really need him to do anything after that. So Cowboys and Washington football team, they're usually rivals. They usually just, it's usually a closer game than that. I wasn't expecting the Cowboys to look as good as they did. They're 11-4. They're gonna win their division. They're looking good come now playoff time. If they keep that up, a lot of the NFC teams are gonna struggle. Cowboys have been called Super Bowl favorites for a very long time. They have a very talented offense. They have a big offensive line. They got a decent run game. They got a lot of receiving weapons. CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper. They got more on the list that I just can't think of off the top of my head. Dallas is looking like a NFC favorite. If I had to say it, even though I don't want to, it's probably going to be a Cowboys versus Packers NFC championship. Pending any changes, as in who wins as the playoffs start and stuff like that. Injuries will be a huge factor. James Robinson from the Jaguars, from what I hear, tore his Achilles, I believe. That's kind of unfortunate for a team that had the record that they have, and you get your star guy hurt. That's not good. But jumping back into the Jaguars, now that I've wrapped up the past week's scores and stuff, and talked about teams that I think are gonna make it and that aren't gonna make it. Jaguars fired Urban Meyer since the last episode that I put out. There was talk that he was not getting along with the coaches, the whole organization. He wasn't handling or managing the team very well. He wasn't doing anything well. He just came out first year and just stunk it up. I think he was trying to use his college ways on grown ass men, for some that have been in the league for quite some time. And I don't think it sat well with some players. It didn't sit well with some coaches. It didn't really seem like he had a good grip. And then he had the drama go on where he was at the bar after a game one week, and he was seen with women and having an affair, but he had a bad look from the rip, and he just didn't have I think, what it took to be a head coach in the NFL. It just didn't look good. But there's been some college coaches that have came up from the college ranks into the NFL, done crappy, go back to college ball, and do perfectly fine. The college is a lot different than NFL. NFL, you have to build the team. Like, yes, there's a draft and you could trade, but money's involved at that point. Yeah, yes, college players make money, but they're not making money off the team. So, like, players are attracted to schools that are set up to win. So, like, college is a lot easier to manage than it is the NFL. Like, the NFL, you really got to, like, build a team and, like, put it together. College is like, man, I got to go find me another 5-star recruit. Like, you just go rip fucking... And college is a little bit slower than the NFL. NFL, you got grown-ass men been doing this shit for years professionally. The game moves a little bit faster than what people think. And bigger, faster, stronger. It is what it is. And I feel like that might be like the change of pace is what throws some coaches and players off. And he seemed to be one of them. And it just didn't work out for him publicly. Also, he had a bad rep. So that pretty much wraps up this episode. You already know what to do. Subscribe, follow, like, comment, give me ideas. If you want to be on the podcast, let me know. I'm always open to that. I actually planned on having somebody on, and then it just didn't happen just due to we got busy and holiday stuff, and we just didn't feel like recording because we ended up on a time crunch and didn't really get enough time to come around and fuck around on the podcast and have some fun. Hopefully I can get somebody on here. I feel like it's time to finally hear some other people's opinions and stuff, and kind of have a little bit of a back and forth going on, some bounce back, some just other input for you guys to listen to. And I feel like I have some people that can definitely hop on here and just bullshit with me about sports. So, with that being said, everything was heavily focused on the NFL because, the NBA is going on. Warriors beat the Suns past weekend and pretty much made a statement they are the best team in the NBA right now. There's no doubt about it. And, yeah. Didn't really have a whole lot to talk about basketball, just because so much is going on in football right now. I do apologize if you're trying to listen for some basketball content. That being said, like, comment, subscribe. Be a friend, tell a friend. Thank you for listening. And that's it.